Hello, hello. It's Coyote Christina, surfer, author, dream weaver. We are in week 2 of the Amazed and Amused campaign, and it's TGIF Friday. And it's also the first day of summer, June 20th. So happy summer. Spring is probably my favorite time of year. I like summer too. And then October is my favorite month. And my birthday might be in October, so there might be some bias there. So today, let's see, yesterday we were talking more about chakras, and today we're going back to animal guides, I believe. Let me just check that to make sure. Yes, okay. So let's see, just kind of this week we've been talking about the initiation stage of the journey. That's the loss and acceptance is when we finally stop running away from the pain, the emotional pain, all the disappointments maybe that we've pretended didn't bother us. So instead of avoiding and running away from them, we are facing them. So initiation is when we let ourselves feel that pain. So the skill set for the initiation stage revolves around the first and second chakra that give ourselves permission to feel our feels. That's the second chakra, is our right to feel. And then to take up space, our right to be, and that's the first chakra, the root chakra. So to do that, is first we need to ground ourselves and learn to stand still, quit running, quit avoiding, and have the confidence and patience to no longer run away and distract ourselves, but to sit with, and we have our animal guides to help us. And the other thing is to honor our feelings instead of, once again, running away from them or pushing them away. So we're not fearing or avoiding those painful emotions, but rather we're learning to be a witness to our own experience. So with our animal guides, we will work to become more mindful and develop certain character traits that will allow us to become more resilient and better able to manage life through all the ups and downs. When we embark upon the inner journey, I like to sound mythological or something. When we embark, why is that such a weird word? When we embark upon the inner journey, we increase our awareness and begin to set ourselves free from the ignorance and circumstance that has been ingrained and inherited. Our animal guides provide inspiration and wisdom along the way. And the animal guides for the initiation stage, we've already gone over rabbit and the fear calling that rabbit has at its core, but it's also a good medicine. Like, we do want to have fear. We just have to distinguish between the fears that keep us alive and the ones that are keeping us from living. And also fear is a great motivator. So we don't want to get rid of it completely. We just need to learn how to manage it and not be controlled by it. Also, the other animals for the initiation stage are deer, frog, and bat. So I just have a little bit on each of those today I wanted to share. So deer medicine is centered on being gentle. The power of this medicine can melt away fear, anger, and indifference. Persistent love and gentleness can cause the meltdown of demons. And that last bit is from Medicine Cards. The medicine of deer is helping me remember that a persistent gentleness of spirit can soothe the soul and help heal my heart. I'm trying to be gentle with myself, even when my feelings don't make sense. We are all doing the best we can, and may the kindness and gentleness of deer be with you every step of your journey, guiding you to the life of your dreams and helping you love your personal demons until they melt away. Stop judging yourself and others. Focus on acting from love despite the fear and anger. So that's a small synopsis from Amazed and Amused, my second book that I've finished the rough draft and an edit, and now I'm getting it professionally edited, so I've got some feedback and going to be working on it. Next, we're going to Frog from Amazed and Amused, and the full title is Amazed, Amused, and Often Confused, The Journey to Joy. That might change a little bit. That's just my draft title. Frog, what brings you peace? What brings you joy? These are the things that you should be focused on. It is frog medicine that calls the rains to Mother Earth each spring, cleansing and replenishing. Like frog, we are asked to know when it is time to refresh, purify, and refill the coffers of the soul. The key thought is to find a way to rid yourself of distractions and replace the mud with clear energy. And that's, once again, quoting medicine cards. I don't have my copy sitting here to show, but so, and I wrote in Amazed and Amused, I'm working on getting myself to a place where I am replenished. It has been a long, cold winter. I was writing this in 2019. It has been a long, cold winter, and I have been muddying the waters with unnecessary distractions. I'm learning that it is my own negative views, my own low self-esteem that has created so much of the pain in my life. I'm working with frog medicine to cleanse the fear of abandonment and feelings of worthlessness from my psyche and my body. I'm working to loosen the shackles imprinted on my being by the emotional pain experienced by that 4.5-year-old child when she lost half her sky and had no one to comfort or guide her or to tell her it wasn't her fault. I'm learning to ask myself, and with frog medicine, we can ask ourselves, do I feel at peace with stillness, or am I always creating agitation that prevents that stillness to be able to tap into the peace within and come into the present moment fully? And we need to do this to clear the muck. So frog medicine, we want to clear the muck. What are you doing to clear the muck and get unstuck? Do you feel there's too much drama in your life, too many distractions, too much judgment? And we just kind of look and become aware, and that's what self-reflection is just building our awareness, and there's all different types of ways. Just reading Amazed and Amused, doing yoga, all kinds of things we can do to become more self-aware. Some issues arise, we have to ask ourselves, are we normalizing unhealthy ways of being, or have we normalized unhealthy ways of being, or faulty thought-based assumptions? My faulty thought-based assumptions were that I was unworthy and unlovable, and I was destined to, sooner or later, I was going to be abandoned and left on my own, just from the isolation that the loss of my dad, or what happened to my dad and his trauma, brought to our family. And so I just have to ask yourself, like, what we see as normal, we might find out that what was normal in our family life or in our home or in a certain community, maybe it's not so normal, and we had to pick up unhealthy ways of being or believing in things that weren't necessarily true to survive in those environments. But now we are full-grown adults, and we are pursuing the life of our dreams, so we need to clear away all that muck and get focused on what we truly want and desire. And then that takes us into the last animal totem for initiation, and that is bat and rebirth. Bat is a powerful medicine. It is the medicine of the risen Christ in Christianity. You do not need religion to be reborn, however. When bat shows up in your life, it can portend the need for a ritualistic death of some way of life that no longer suits your new growth pattern. This can mean a time of letting go of old habits and of assuming the position in life that prepares you for a rebirth, or in some cases, initiation. In every case, bat signals rebirth of some part of yourself or the death of old patterns. If you resist your destiny, it can be a long, drawn out, or painful death. The universe is always asking you to grow and become your future. To do so, you must die the shaman's death. And that's quoting medicine cards when they're talking about rebirth. And this medicine has always talked to me, and it's the totem I pulled in 2017. So it was my animal totem in 2017. So, and then I was writing this blog in 2019, the shaman's death. What does that mean? Maybe it means letting go, letting things fall apart. Maybe we experience many deaths every day, and the only way to find peace is to stop trying to avoid or manipulate how and when these little deaths happen, and admit that we are not in control. We are powerless in so many ways, and we do not have the answers, not yet. When we do this, we loosen our grip. We die to these ways of being that are calculated and controlling. We can let things fall apart and allow the earth to hold us, and this is where we begin to trust and align ourselves with the universe, with the divine power, if that's what we believe, or with the life force. It has taken me years to let go, to let things fall apart and stop trying to control outcomes and figure things out as a way to maintain a pretense of control in a world where I have so little power and there's so much suffering. In March 2019, I wrote, "It has been a long, painful process. Perhaps I have died the shaman's death at this point. I'm pretty sure my stubborn resistance has made it more difficult. Have I been resisting my destiny? I've finally gotten to a place where I can admit to myself that I lost my dad, and it was a big deal, and it's okay to be upset about it, even when it still doesn't make sense to me at a certain level. Or maybe there's still a part of me that does not want to accept the pain and loss. I have known that I cannot return to the strong embrace of the father I had as a young child for most of my life, but I was not willing to accept this loss until his ghost was awakened in 2017. I'll close today with this poem as part of my entry on BAT, and about accepting that pain of loss, as I learned to say goodbye to the father I had been hoping to find again, that I lost in 1976 when I was four and a half years old. And I would have told you for 30 years after that everything was fine and I had a dad. He did survive. He was in an accident and had a partial lobotomy of the left hemisphere of his brain. So he was paralyzed on the right side of his body. He was never supposed to walk again, but he walked for 44 years with a cane. An amazing man, my hero, but that little girl just wanted her dad. He wasn't able to talk in full sentences or read or write. He probably had the cognitive abilities functioning of the brain of about a 10 to 13-year-old. So it's something that I told myself all my life wasn't a big deal, because that little girl and our family didn't have the resources to process that kind of loss. So now I'm processing it and finding out over the last 20 years that I'll be probably processing it and other things for the rest of my life. But that's okay, because now I'm a full-grown adult and I can learn ways and resources to do that. So let's see. So I'll close today with this poem and with the reminder that the journey to joy is not always joyful, but when we stop running and avoiding, we can heal our hearts, and this opens us to even deeper joy and better aligns our energy centers, allowing us to have more energy to enjoy life here and now, instead of wasting our energy on avoidance that stems from fear and that encourages ignorance. Acceptance. Endless. But there has to be an end to me. I thought it was you, but perhaps you were the beginning and not the end. So much in life fades away, hearts and thoughts, for better, for worse. Will I find another, and another? And all I want is you, but it is a different you from a different time in a faraway place. A you I lost so long ago, and now I'm haunted by the ghost. An archetype of a man I don't remember and yet cannot quite forget. Breaking my heart again and again, trying to return, forgetting to remember. The primal pull ignited by chance. I did not want to know that I cannot return, but your ghost has told me so. Thank you. Look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Saturday is the I Descent, so we'll have an I Descent discussion. And yeah, have a great Friday. Bye-bye.